Hello, welcome back to Cultured Photography. Today you join me in my home city of Durham, and today we're going to capture some moody, dark images for Cathedral and Castle. So join me on a walk around Durham and hopefully some good shots. As we walk up the ramp of Penny Ferry Bridge, we get our first glimpse of the Cathedral above the River Wear. Going to cross over, follow the path past Freeman's Place, and as we'll make our way up to Palace Green, we'll talk about the subject of today's video, which is intention. Now, just going out and taking pictures is great, but if you want your images to stand out and tell a story, then you have to think more deeply and be more deliberate. In previous videos, I've talked about just spending time in the landscape, feeling the mood and understanding the context of the location, and keeping this in mind whilst composing your image. It's been dark and miserable for a fortnight of eternity in the northeast, so I thought I would venture out and capture some very moody shots of a cathedral with a theme of dark academia. Dark academia conjures up images of libraries or studies, decorated in dark, rich tones with grand architecture and lots of textures. I know Durham very well and already visualised some of the images I wanted to take and how they might look. For every shot today, I kept referring back to those dark academia themes, embracing that feeling and emotion whilst framing each image. I knew there was warm-coloured lighting around the Palace Green that would bring out some of the great tones and textures. Process the images with the same approach. It's a different theme from what I normally do, and it really helped to invigorate the creative process. As we merge from the Vennel, we find ourselves on Silver Street, a medieval thoroughfare dating back around 1,000 years. It takes its name as it was known for silversmiths. It's only a few metres until we're heading back away from the shops and following the footpath up to our first image of the day. If you're enjoying this content, make sure to tap the like, and if you're on mobile, give it a hype. I don't do this full time, so doing that will really help me to know what content people enjoy. We're just coming up to the place where I want to take the first photograph of the day. First image of any day isn't usually the best. It's a warm-up, one that most people probably wouldn't publicly show. Good or bad, I'll share as many images with you because that's reality. Whilst I want to demonstrate that good technique, experience and practice can result in great images, it isn't always the case, and it's important for me to show you that. From here we just head up, take a left, and it brings us right to the centre of the World Heritage Site. Couldn't count the amount of times I've walked this way, but it still never fails to impress. So as I'm walking around, I'm just checking the photos that I want to take. During the filming of this video, I had conversations with no less than 5 people and said, "Morning, you alright?" to at least half a dozen more. Got to love Durham for that. I just spent quite a bit of time looking around different compositions, found something that really works. Took some pictures of the cathedral and the castle, which I'll show you. But this one here I'll show you in the back of the camera. Just lining up the edge of the library here, lovely building. It's got some lights on the inside with the two towers of the cathedral in the background. So I'll talk you through that now. So settings for this shot: ISO 100, f9 to give us a good depth of field, and I'll probably decrease the shutter to around 1 second so as not to blow any highlights in the overcast sky. I've moved away from the building a little bit so I can use a zoom and get some compression between the library and the two towers of the cathedral in the background, which I think really works. So there's a classic shot of the cathedral from down Orngate here. So I'm just going to walk down there, do that one now. A bit overcast again today. As normal in the winter, you know, this happens. Heading over to the far side of Palace Green, there's another classic shot of the central tower that I want to capture. On the way, I did notice a doorway that I hadn't paid attention to before. Textures of the stone and dark tones of the door, coupled with warm light, creating some wonderful atmosphere, and just what I was after. Because I had gone out with the intention of capturing certain images, I took something I wouldn't have really considered before. This is why it's important to challenge yourself and be very conscious of the story you want to tell. The next images are a bit of a cliche from this spot, but again I was approaching from a specific direction, so hopefully they can still look a little original. We're now walking along North Bailey. As its name might imply, it formed part of the enclosure of the earlier Norman Mott and Bailey Castle. There's a lot of history over the centuries, but most of the buildings you can see now date back from the 17th century. Many of them form the various Durham University colleges now. Just as North Bailey merges into South Bailey, we have the rear entrance to the Cathedral, taking us inside the protective walls. As we walk over towards the far side, on our left-hand side ahead lies the chorister school. We continue heading forward past the refectory and into the tunnel that takes us back out, overlooking the River Wear. From here, we're going to head down to Prebends Bridge. South Bailey lies up the hill to our left. We'll wander over the bridge and pause for a few moments to admire the riverside view and the grey towers of the cathedral. I was in two minds of taking the next few images. I've taken them many times, but as I had a particular theme in mind, and I needed to go this way anyway, it seemed rude not to. I hope that some of you might also find it useful to say exactly where these locations are and take your own versions. As we make our way along the alley past the boathouses, the scene opens up and you immediately understand why it has inspired so many artists over the centuries. So difficult trying to find an original composition in this spot, so I've just tried a few things just around the other side of this boathouse. We can see this is the classic view, the view that everyone takes, but you can't walk past and not take the image. That's the problem. Gets you every time. Heading back towards the city centre and reflecting on the subject and theme of today's video, it reminded me of the very early days when I'd go out with the camera, not really knowing what I was going to do or for what purpose. Whilst I had a clear purpose today, it did give me an excitement to go and shoot some old things in a new way. As we finish our walk, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.